2, 1, blast off.
I'm scared.
Hi, scared. I'm Dad.
Pretty much the main reason we wanted to stay at this campground was it's nearby Dade City, which is home to Snowcat Ridge, sledding place, ice skating place. They have some snow to play around with, so we thought we'd enjoy a little bit of that. And I don't think it's about 30 minutes away or so. So we wanted to keep the holiday fun going a while. Some more winter festivities while we were down here in Florida for Christmas and New Year's, of course. We were able to find, my wife actually was able to find some snow down here in Florida. They have snow, and went sledding and well, at least at this place, sledding and ice skating. We went to a place called Snowcat Ridge, located in Dade City, Florida. It's about 45 minutes north of Tampa. Evidently, it's Florida's only Alpine Snow Park with 100% real snow. It opened, I think, 5 or so years ago, 2020. And the current season goes from November 21st of 2025 to March 1st of 2026. Check their website, of course, for different days and hours, and you have to buy tickets for certain days and specific time slots. But, you know, some of the attractions they have here, they got the snowy slopes, they call it. It's a 60-foot tall, 400-foot long tubing hill, single and double tubes, magic carpet lift. They have a kind of a nighttime ambiance there with music synchronized to the light show on the hill, which is really neat. They have Arctic Igloo, 10,000 square foot dome for snow play, snowmen, snowballs. There's a little bunny slope in there for the little ones. Crystal Ribbon, they call it. It's the outdoor real ice skating ribbon and beginner oval. And then they have a little area they call the Alpine Village, which is the food, the drinks, fire pits, s'mores, private igloos, stuff like that. They do have some height requirements for the main tubing hill. I think it's 42 inches for the kids, for the doubles, and 36 inches for the solos. That may vary a little bit because we were there. They didn't have any solo tubes running. They just the double tubes. And then I think under 2 is free. Otherwise, there's a price for the ticket. And they make the snow evidently daily, you know, from water with their machines. They've got some kind of system that they take care of to get it distributed down the hill. I'm not sure. And I want to think some of the pricing. So general admission, when you buy, is like a 2-hour slot. You can get more, but 2-hour tubing slot all day. Igloo Village skating access, I think somewhere between $40 to $60+ per person. But they also had an unlimited tubing upgrade, which we added, which I want to say was like $20 more per person. Otherwise, you're there for like a 2-hour slot and you can't get back on the hill, so we didn't want to be rushed. And then they have the VIP Fast Pass, which we added, and I can't remember how much more that was. My wife had paid for it all online, as well as some parking. And I think if you pay online, you're going to save money. It's another $5 to $10 more per person if you pay at the box office at the entry. So book your tickets online. Plus, you'll know what slots are open and so forth. But yeah, before you can actually enter the gate, you come in, get parked, of course. Everyone must complete a liability waiver, which makes sense, or it probably is expected at a place like this. Parents have to complete a separate one for each child. And the parking lot was pretty busy when we got there. I felt like it was a kind of a changing of the guard, early attendees leaving and the night crew showing up. We were part of the night crew. A lot of people probably had a 2-hour time slot. But yeah, so we went straight to the hill.
2, 1, blast off.
Don't beat me. Oh, you guys are fast. Oh, I'm coming for you. I gotcha. I gotcha.
When we got there, of course, the big attraction for some sledding. I mentioned only double tubes were being used. I'm not sure if that's a preference or maybe they were how they like to run it there, but they did have some kind of single-looking little dinghy boat tubes as well, but only doubles, either whether you ride single or double. But they have like an uphill conveyor belt, which is pretty neat. You can walk up the center of it. A lot of people were doing that. The conveyor belt wasn't super fast, and it would stop every so often. I think it was slipping on a pulley or clutch system or something like that. But if you didn't want to walk, you could stand on it, but be careful because it would get going and stop. And so you want to make sure you distribute your weight. They had carpet everywhere on the hill, up the hill, not the sliding area, but when you're pulling a tube, just so there wasn't any as much friction, and probably keeps the tubes in better shape. But yeah, we hit the double tube area a few times. It gets going pretty fast, actually. But it was safe. There's dividers between, so you can kind of race your group, your friends and family. And then when you finish, it kind of peels back uphill to slow you down. So it's not an abrupt stop either. So it's kind of a gradual thing. But yeah, we hit that a few times, I think. And then we decided we were going to grab some food after some runs down the hill. My son wanted a churro, of course. They had all kind of different style foods, but we grabbed that, and we grabbed some drinks, and then we grabbed a pepperoni pizza. Not bad, actually. It was pretty quick. It was a thin crust. We just got a pepperoni, but they had, I was expecting kind of much worse, Mayor. It wasn't bad at all. They did have beers and other alcoholic drinks and food options as well. Plenty of options there. And then the sun set, and, the lights started coming to life at this place, which was part of the reason we wanted to get there after 4 o'clock, so we could see it both before and after sunset. That's kind of, if you can only pick one time or one window, I would suggest going in at dark. The lighting adds a whole extra element, and it kind of syncs with the music. It's pretty cool. And I mentioned a little bit earlier, they had fire areas to warm up all over that place. And then people were roasting marshmallows, making s'mores at one of the food areas. They sold like little s'more kits, and you could roast the marshmallows and make a s'more for the kids, or I guess adults could have that too. They had a lot of Christmas tree stuff up. So we were there just after Christmas, but before New Year's, and they had it all decorated. It was looking good. It looked good. And I don't know how long that stays up, but they were playing a bunch of Christmas music, and people were really into it. So yeah, got some food in us, and my son decided that we were going to go ice skating, which we did have a separate purchase for. That's not the same as the sledding, so they get you on that too. I don't think it was super ridiculous on the cost, but they had a decent size ice skating rink.
Where did you learn all your ice skating skills? What's the most important thing about ice skating?
Always keep your eyes open. No, if you're feeling sleepy, no, you cannot go there. I do not want somebody to run over you.
What kind of moves are you going to be doing out there?
Like the backwards ice skating on this.
Ooh, nice.
Kind of looped around in a track format, and had a small open area in the front, for the little kids, or kind of an open area to hang out. But this place was packed. Very popular ice skating is in Florida. You get your rental skates. They have tons of rental skates. A big old tent they have set up, and the staff would store your shoes for you inside there in exchange for the skates. Some of the younger kids also had these, it's kind of like a skater guide you could lean on, but it was like a blow mold. It looked like a bunny or something, and they were using that to push around to skate. But I know that I heard one of the parents say that was an extra cost as well. But yeah, my son had a blast. This was actually his first time ice skating. I know I haven't been ice skating in a very, very long time. I'm happy to say I did not fall, but I wasn't taking many risks out there. I didn't get too far away from the wall. But we did see some poor little girl right before we were getting ready to step on, or right when we were stepping on the ice, I think. She had fell and chipped her tooth. So it was kind of a bad start, at least for her. But luckily, we all left unscathed. They had a little Zamboni. They ran around there, as you could probably expect. It was real ice. It just got chopped up with so many people pretty quick. I don't know how often the Zamboni was out there, maybe every hour and a half or 2 hours. I saw it a couple times, and I think it took about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, where people had to take a break. So we got off the ice. Quick hot cocoa stop after that, just around the corner there. And then we walked around a little bit just to check some things out. They had some other stuff going on in the corner. They had these private igloos that they would rent out. They faced the sledding hill, kind of a little VIP section. Not sure what the cost was, but they were pretty cool. A little igloo table set up. They had some chairs you could sit out by. They had a fire pit that was private to you as well. And then over in that same area, they had some smaller playground areas for younger kids, it looked like. Kind of a little ball pit and jungle gym looking thing. And then it looked like they had some type of story time set up. Maybe it was else that was reading the stories, it looked like. We didn't go in there. We were just kind of cruising around. But they had other stuff to do if you weren't looking to jump on the hill or go ice skating. But we wanted to go back because they had a few different options. So they had the single and double riders, and then they had a big 10-person tube area with 2 lanes, I think, on the far end. So we had to back up to jump on the larger 10-person tube.
Harper, you're not letting me go. There's room on the door. Oh, it's a bumpy ride.
You don't have to carry anything up. These tubes are huge and probably super heavy, so they have a pulley and hook system that brings them up on the far side of the hill, and then the poor staff have to drag them over. They get a pretty good workout, I would say, over to the lane. But pretty fun. There is a little jump at the end of one of the lanes. I don't know if that was by design or just how the ice and the snow is melted, but it creates a little extra excitement at the end. They paired us up. We were a group of 3, and we got paired with a group of 7, so we had a full tube each time we went. But I guess we got a little bit more speed that way, so a little bit more exciting. But it was fun. The 10-person tube was pretty fun too. I mentioned the the Arctic Igloo earlier. So then towards the end of the night, this was kind of planned because we figured we'd get cold and wet here. We headed over to the large igloo with it has a ton of snow. They have a snow machine running, producing snow. It seemed just like nonstop. It was super cold when you walked in the igloo too. They kept it very chilled, and it looked like they had about, I would say, 5-foot base of snow or so already. Pretty good amount. You had to kind of climb up on some chiseled out steps that they had shoveled for everybody. Kids were loving it, running around, playing in the snow that was falling from the machine, snowball fights. They had a little small bunny hill I mentioned for the little ones, just a real little hill, but there was a handful of young kids that seemed to be enjoying it. My son loved it. We haven't, down here in Florida, you don't get to play in much snow for the winter. Played a bit. We were in there having some snowball fights for a while, at least until my son's boots were filled up with snow, and then we were kind of ready to get out of there. Headed to the parking lot just a little bit. They closed at 10. We didn't, I don't think it was exactly 10, but we were there pretty late. And they have an awesome, in the parking lot, it's a really kind of ambiance setup, awesome array of strong lights over kind of canopy setting over all the whole parking lot pretty much, or at least the whole front. Very cool effect. Cool. We had a great time. Definitely would recommend if you're on the fence about this place. So we wanted to go here. We booked a campground close by, mainly just to go, like I said, to Snowcat Ridge. We booked a full hookup site at a Sun RV park. We had some good Sun RV stays. The one was, if you recall, Fort Myers Beach that was just rebuilt. It was awesome and cheap. The other one was in Sarasota, the one that was huge. It was over 1,000 sites, but it was a great place. They had a lot of different cool amenities, and the people were great. So we booked this one in Bushnell, Florida. I think we paid maybe just under $55 per night for full hookups. I'm not really sure. So it's a Sun RV Communities. I'm not sure how it all works, but this one might have just recently joined the franchise as a franchise, because the Sun RV label was on things like the paperwork and on the website, but when you get to the community, all the physical branding at the park is called Blueberry Hill, or Blueberry Hill Park, or Blueberry Hill RV Park. So I'm not sure if it's in a transition window or exactly what, but it doesn't feel like there's not a lot of branding at the place. Maybe a couple little signs on the office door, but not a lot of branding otherwise that say Sun RV Communities or RV Park or anything like that. But their website is beautiful. The photos are beautiful of this place. Check it out. It looks really great. There are aerial views of camp spots with concrete pads and decent yards and kind of all that, looking really pretty and clean. So we booked it. However, unbeknownst to us, that's not where they put the transient campers. That's not where the short-term campers get placed. We did not know this. We didn't know there was an option, on this. So there's evidently 2 distinct areas. So one, in the back, there's a permanent, or at least I would say semi-permanent or seasonal sites. Some RVs, some Class A's, fifth wheels, travel trailers back there, but probably mostly park model trailers. I presume some people are living there full time, just being in Florida. This area was pretty quiet and had some decent sized lots. At the front, right next to the main road where you come in, is where they placed us. They had quite a few pull-through sites, so they're all pull-through, but they were really narrow, and there was like barely any grass. Like there was just a strip of grass kind of on the corner. Also, you know, the other thing, we were literally 100 yards from the Walmart entrance exit. Traffic was crazy loud coming and going. We didn't get a whole lot of sleep at this stop. You know, not to be too much of a downer, they did have some new looking swimming pool we got to check out. That area was good. It had some pavers. It looked like that might have been the new part, and that's why I'm curious about the transition, and maybe they're transitioning, and I don't know if that would help with the traffic noise, but they had shuffleboard. They had a covered basketball / community area, I would say. Some roller skating practice we got done in there, and they were playing like cornhole and stuff in there at different times. It would be good to hang out in the rain. They also had a propane fire ring at each site, so that was cool. I don't think we've had that before. We've had fire pits, but nothing that where they produce, you know, the ring, and then there was actually propane in ours. I don't know if that was expected. It wasn't really advertised that way, but we had I don't know if it was a full tank, but we had a fire a couple times. And then they had sheds at each of the transient spots. We didn't need storage sheds, but they had one. I mean, if you want to store some things for a day or two, they had the space. I think there were some people in these more short-term spots that were there longer term. I don't know how long, but you can kind of tell there was a handful of cars parked around and stuff sitting out. They also had a small dog park area. Unfortunately, the dog poop was pretty out of control, so we went in there once briefly, and then we never went back. That was actually kind of the case around our camper in the transient area. There wasn't much grass, and then there was a strip of grass around the outside of everybody, and like some people were walking their dogs there, but it was peppered with dog poop. And honestly, other campers should be picking up after their dogs, but I don't think we've experienced something like that at any of the parks before. Not this much. They did have some really cool giant birds that hung out. We've seen some different things, and we saw a lot of birds over at Jetty Park, but I don't think we've seen these. So they had, I believe they're called sandhill cranes, and looking them up, they're pretty common to Central Florida, but they're huge. They stand up. They got to be 4.5 foot tall when they're standing, but they would just walk around campground, fly around a little bit, and they made a pretty distinctive sound. And we joked with my son about it being a pterodactyl, but they were pretty cool. We pretty much saw them daily, at least at some point. They're hanging out. And then they do have facilities, which is part of the reason you go stay at somewhere like this, is if you have to catch up on laundry or things like that. So we did do laundry. It did seem like a clean area. They took care of it. Washer seemed fine, but unfortunately the dryers did not get very hot. We had to do at least 2 full cycles to get our clothes dry. It wasn't just us, because we switched around, and I tried to do laundry another day thinking it was a fluke, and then talked with some of the other campers. I'm not sure what was going on, but none of the dryers were getting hot. So yeah, I think it was only like, I don't know, it was around $2 a load, which isn't terrible, but we plan on doing two cycles on the dryer, even on the hot setting. And then they had a shower house, which I can't tell, but it looks like it may have been under renovations. Some of the interior walls of the shower were being painted or were painted white. The others were kind of a wood stained color, like in the process of being painted, I think. And it kind of brings me back to my point, is I wonder if this is kind of in a transition of joining the Sun RV family, and that they're kind of getting all that done. But unfortunately, there was no hot water after night 1. So I tried like 3 more nights. And even though we have full hookups, a lot of times I'll jump, if the shower house is decent, I'll go to the shower house and let my son and wife shower in the camper, just save hot water. Just, you know, or sometimes we shower around the same time to get the night moving. I tried 3 more nights, checking the different, there was like 6 of them, maybe 6 or 7. And I tried multiple ones, and there was other people there, and this is a couple of those days, and they didn't have hot water either. I'm not sure if that's related to the dryer or just a bunch of little things that need to be cleaned up. But we booked this based on some of our prior good visits with the Sun RV communities, and unfortunately just had a little bit of problems. But yeah, I guess they can't all be perfect. Overall, I think, you know, Snowcat Ridge is a blast. If you're thinking about it or heard about it, I recommend you go check it out. It's really fun. How they get the snow to stay in Florida, I don't know. When we were there, it was a little cooler. The temperatures were a little cooler around New Year's if you're down here. But I don't think that matters. I mean, they got to have some hot days, and they're open during the the middle of the day to get some sunshine on that, but they must do a pretty good job or work pretty hard. I definitely would go back. I recommend a trip here. And then they also had a zip line park at the front of the property, different name, but I'm assuming it's all, you know, part of the same establishment. So maybe it's more of a summer deal, but they had some type of zip line park. And as far as the Bushnell Sun RV Community / Blueberry Hill, it's probably going to get better. Maybe it's in the transition period, like I said. The pool was really nice, and there was a lot of seasonal and full-time residents that we said hi to in our walking, and they all seemed really pleasant. Everybody was really nice. The stop's not far off of 75, so I think it's a convenient, easy place. We had one neighbor we had people coming and going for one night, and we talked to one gentleman, and he was just on his way a little further south, and it was just a nice, easy stop off of 75. So if you need to stop for a night or so, I think it's an option. We just had some bad luck, didn't get much sleep, loud traffic. Our location of our site wasn't great, and I think if we did go back, it would just be an overnight stay for what that's worth. Yeah, but up next, we get out of the busy private campground, and we get back to some quiet nature-filled Florida State Park. So we're pretty excited about that after this one. We continue our journey north and a little west, and we visit Manatee Springs State Park just for a day, and then we head over to, see if I don't butcher this, Ocklackney River State Park, I think is how they pronounce that. I'm working on that. I've butchered it for 3 days now. Both campgrounds are very nice and quiet, very friendly rangers and staff, awesome. And over here at Ocklackney, it's a little bit of a gym. It's kind of a small place, but very quiet, nice, clean, paved roads inside the park, good bike riding. Yeah, we're going to get that one out as soon as I can. If you're still with me, I appreciate it. See you on the next one.